there, welcome to yoga. My name's Hillary and I'll be guiding you through a Vinyasa flow yoga practice today. It'll be an active practice and I'll be taking different angles for this video. So for some recommended props, if you don't have them, that's okay. I like to use 2 yoga blocks for practice. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use large textbooks. Also, you can sit on a folded up blanket to support your hips in these seated postures. And also, I recommend having some wall space. We'll be doing some nice stretches up against the wall at the end of, close to the end of class. So from here, let's start in our meditation section of our yoga practice. So you can stay seated, grounding your sit bones into the mat, or you can lie on your back with your legs extended in front of you, or your feet and the soles of your feet together in a butterfly, and your legs in a butterfly position in Supta Baddha Konasana. And start to take one deep inhale into your belly, filling up through your chest, and then exhaling out completely through your nose or mouth. Start to find your breath. You can rest your eyes. Take your time with your breath work. Focusing in on your breathing really helps calm the mind and helps you focus in on the present moment. Put any worries or anxieties aside for this practice. Focus completely on your own well-being. We'll start with a breathing exercise. Inhale in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out for 4, 3, 2, 1. You can continue on this breath cycle or increase your breath counts. Continue to breathe mindfully. And remembering to fill up completely and exhaling out completely. We'll take a few more rounds of breath in our meditation. Take one more inhale in, filling up completely, and then exhaling out completely, opening our eyes. And we'll stay in our seated position. We'll start with some stretches seated. From here, we'll inhale up tall, arms up tall, interlacing our fingers, flipping our palms up, taking a long body stretch, keeping our shoulders pulled down. And then exhale, we'll release our hands and take a twist to the right. So our right hand behind us, left hand on our right leg, gazing over our right shoulder. Inhale up tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Gaze is over our left shoulder. And inhale up tall, back to center. And exhale, we'll hinge at our hips and take a seated forward fold. Palms on the mat, releasing our neck. Take a few breaths here. And then on our next inhale, we'll curl our spine up. 1 vertebra at a time, head comes last. And then we'll stay seated and we'll do some shoulder rolls to the front for 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 to the back. I got a little bit mixed up there. And then back to a neutral spine. And then from here, let's make our way to a tabletop position. Removing your blanket, or if you sat on one. So in our tabletop position, we want to have our wrists stacked underneath our shoulders, knees stacked under our hips, and our hands are shoulder distance apart. We have a long spine from the crown of our head to our tailbone. From here, we'll start some cat and cow flows. So inhale, our belly drops, head rises for cow pose. Exhale, spine curls up, head drops for cat. Inhale up for cow. Exhale for cat. You can continue to move through this flow in any way that feels good for your spine. You can move from side to side, lower down into child's pose, doing figure eights with your shoulders and your hips. Just moving in a way that feels good. Take a few more rounds of breath here. And then one more inhale in. Exhale out completely. And back to tabletop. From our tabletop, I'm going to face you. We're going to do our balancing table pose. So in our tabletop, we're going to extend our right leg back, and with our right foot flexed, left arm lifts like you're shaking somebody's hand. And then we're going to bring our left elbow to our right knee for curling our spine for 1. Inhale up to balancing table. Exhale, crunch. Inhale to balancing table. Then exhale, crunch. Inhale back to balancing table. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Release. So we'll do the other side. So our right arm is right in front of us like we're shaking somebody's hand. Left leg goes back. Left foot flexed. Balancing. We have a long line of energy from our hand to our heel. And then exhale, crunch. So right elbow to left knee for 1. Inhale to balancing table. Exhale to crunch. Inhale to balancing table. Exhale to crunch. Inhale to balancing table. And hold. And release. And then from here, we're going to stand up on our knees. And then we'll kickstand our right leg out. Our right foot is flat on the mat. So we'll tee out our arms. And then we'll exhale, side bend to the left. So your left hand can go on a block or on the mat. So we want to open up our chest. Gaze straight up. And then inhale, rise up to a T. And then from here, we'll bring our right toes pointing towards the ceiling. And then from here, exhale, side bend to the right. And then inhale back to a T, releasing our arms, and back to center. So we'll do the other side. So our left leg extends, left foot is flat on the mat, and your toes face forward. Tee out your arms, and then exhale, side bend to the right. And making sure that left shoulder opens up, left arm is tall. Inhale to a T, point your left toes to the ceiling, and then exhale, side bend to the left. And inhale to a T, And then release back to center. Then we'll make our way back into tabletop. From our tabletop, we'll tuck our toes under and lift our hips up for our very first downward facing dog practice. And remember, in your downward facing dog, your hands are shoulder distance apart, fingers are wide, pressing into all 10 finger pads. You want to guide your inner elbows forward. And our knees are bent, feet are hip distance apart. You can keep your knees as bent as you'd like. And you can start to pedal out your heels like you're walking your dog. You can shake your head yes and no. Just keep breathing. You want to inhale in through your nose. And then when you exhale, you constrict the back of your throat as you exhale. It's like you're fogging up a mirror, or they call it Darth Vader breath. Take a few more rounds here. And then on our next exhale, find our way back into downward facing dog. And then from here, we'll tiptoe forward into our ragdoll pose. So our feet are hip distance apart. We grab opposite elbows, relaxing our neck. Making sure your knees are still bent. You can sway side to side, front to back, next relaxed. And then exhale, release your hands. Then inhale, we'll bring our palms up to our shins for halfway lift. So we have a long spine from the crown of our head to our tailbone. It's like our back is a table, and you can balance that glass of water on it. And then exhale to a forward fold, releasing our neck, hands on the mat. And then on our inhale, we'll curl our spine up one vertebra at a time. Our head comes last. We'll find our way into mountain pose. So remember, in your mountain pose, ground into all four corners of your feet, lifting our toes up, checking in our alignment, shoulders pulled down. Take a few breaths here. Then we'll start our sun salutation series. So we'll start in our mountain pose. So inhale, our arms sweep up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, swan dive down to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift on shins or on thighs. Exhale, hands to the mat, feet step back into our plank pose. So you can be on your plank on knees or toes, yogi's choice. So you want to make sure your wrists are stacked your wrists are still stacked beneath your shoulders. And you have a strong core, and your belly's not dropping. And then in your plank pose, you want to shift front to back. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, shift forward. Elbows start to bend, elbows in tight. Lower down, chaturanga. Release your feet. And then we'll lift up into a baby cobra. So our hands are directly under our shoulders. Gently lifting our chest up off the mat, gazes forward. We take a few breaths here. And then exhale, forehead to mat, toes tuck under. And then we'll lift up into downward facing dog, either through tabletop or plank, your choice. So from our downward facing dog, gaze between our hands, hop, step, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that was sun salutation A. So we'll do another one. Inhale, arms sweep up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, feet step back to plank. And then take your chaturanga on knees or toes. Remember, on your exhale, elbows in tight, lower your chest down, release your feet, and you can lift up into cobra or up dog where you press in your hands, lift your legs off of the mat, and you're just pressing in the tops of your feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then from your downward facing dog, gaze between our hands, hop, step, or float, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rise up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll start our flow sequence here. So on your inhale, we'll rise up into high mountain pose. Exhale, we'll take our left foot and step it to the right side of the mat, and our hands come to prayer into a curtsy squat. I got a little off balance here. So you're going to make sure your hips are square. You have a bend in your right knee and in your left. And we'll take a few breaths here. Inhale up to high mountain pose. And then exhale, curtsy squat. Take your right foot to the left side off the left side of your mat. And keep that left knee bent, hips squared forward, hands to heart center. Then inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, we'll cactus our arms. Chest moves forward for a back bend. Inhale to high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take your vinyasa or step back into downward facing dog. So remember, your vinyasa is chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and then downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, inhale, our right leg will lift to a three-legged dog. Mine won't be able to lift very far because of the wall space. And then we'll bend our right leg, open up our right hip for a scorpion downward facing dog. So you want to make sure the weight is balanced in your each hand. And then inhale back into three-legged dog. And then exhale, right foot steps through into our runner's lunge. So in our runner's lunge, you want to make sure your right knee is stacked above your right ankle. You have the option here to grab your yoga blocks. I like to use it for this part. So in your runner's lunge, on your next inhale, straighten your right leg, release your neck for a wide-legged pyramid. Exhale into runner's lunge. Or you can do any other movement that feels good to you. You can do hip circles. Just introduce the movement, warming up your right hip. And then on your next inhale, rise up into crescent lunge. So in our crescent lunge, you make sure your right leg is still at about that 90-degree angle. Arms are up tall, palms face each other, and your left foot, the ball of your left foot is stamped into the mat. And then on our next exhale, we're going to take a twist to the right. So our left arm comes forward, right arm comes back, gazes to the right. You can bring a bend into your left knee for a little bit more of a challenge. Then inhale, rise up into crescent. Exhale to warrior two. So in your warrior two, you want to make sure your back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat, and your right leg is still at that 90-degree angle. And once you're set up, tee out your arms, strong arms, gaze over your right hand. Keep breathing. Remember that Ujjayi breath, that fogging up the mirror breath. Then on your next exhale, cartwheel your hands down to your runner's lunge. You can step back, take your vinyasa, or take it downward facing dog, yogi's choice. Just move with your breath. Think of it as a moving meditation. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. I'll switch sides of the mat. And then from our downward facing dog, on our inhale, left leg lifts to a three-legged dog. Left foot is flexed. And then we'll slowly bend our left knee, open up for that scorpion, downward facing dog, equal weight in each hand. And then inhale to a three-legged dog. And then exhale, left foot steps through in between our hands for your runner's lunge. Grab your blocks if you'd like them. You can start to move in a way that feels good to you. You can move with your breath from your runner's lunge to your wide-legged pyramid, hip circles, whatever feels good to you. And then on your next exhale, back into runner's lunge. Inhale, lift up to crescent lunge. Take a few breaths here. Remember your alignment. Left knee stacks above your left ankle, and the ball of your right foot stamped into the mat. Shoulders pulled down. And then on your exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So left arm reaches back, right arm forward, and gaze to the left. You can bend that right knee. Then inhale, rise up to your crescent. And then exhale, open up, warrior two. Your back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Left leg is at about that 90-degree angle. And once you're ready, tee out your arms. Gaze is over your left hand. Strong arms, shoulders pull down. And then on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to that runner's lunge. Take your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Child's pose is also an option if you need a little bit of a breather. You can take that anytime during your yoga practice. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. We'll take a few breaths. And then on your next inhale, fill up completely. Exhale out completely. And then gaze between our hands, hop, step, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, with a flat back, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to add on to our flow. And then from our mountain pose, arms by our side. Inhale, arms sweep up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, curtsy lunge. Left foot steps off the right side of the mat for a curtsy lunge. Inhale up, high mountain pose. Exhale, right foot steps off to the left for curtsy to the left. Inhale up to high mountain pose. Exhale, cactus your arms, chest rises up for a back bend. Inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back. Take your vinyasa, or stay in downward facing dog, or child's pose. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog pose, inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot steps through, runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale to crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to star pose. So in our star pose, arms are at a T, Our feet are at a 45-degree angle. So our toes out, heels in. And then on our next exhale, we'll bend our knees into a squat. Elbows come in to the sides of our body. Palms up for goddess pose. In our goddess pose, you can sway from side to side or stay static, yogi's choice. Then inhale, we'll bring our arms to a T, keep our legs still bent. And then on our exhale, side bend to the right, left arm up tall, gaze at the ceiling, take a few breaths. Then inhale up to a T, and then exhale, side bend to the left. Left arm, inner left thigh. Right arm is tall, gaze at the ceiling. And then inhale to a star and straighten our legs. And then we'll adjust our feet to be parallel, so toes are facing forward. And then exhale, hinge at your hips with a flat back. Take your wide-legged forward fold. You can take this halfway if you'd like, or take the full forward fold. You can take any variation of forward fold you'd like. You can walk your hands forward, grabbing your ankles, walking your hands back. Just find what works for you. And then on our next inhale, we'll walk our hands towards our right foot into a runner's lunge. And then on our next exhale, take a vinyasa or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. I'll switch sides here. From our downward facing dog, inhale, left foot rises, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot steps through, runner's lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Exhale, twist to the left. So left arm back, right arm forward, gaze to the left. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, up to star pose. Heels in, toes out. Exhale, squat down for goddess squat. So elbows in, palms up. You can take any variation you like. You can stay static or rock side to side. Or you can lift a heel up or both heels up. And then on our next inhale, we'll bring our hands on top of our thighs. And then on our exhale, we'll dip our left shoulder towards our right, gaze above our right shoulder. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, right shoulder dips towards the left, gaze above our left shoulder. And then inhale, back to center. Rise up to star pose. Bring our feet to be parallel, toes facing forward. And then on your next exhale, hinge at your hips. Take a wide-legged forward fold of your choice. You can take something different. You can take side lunges to the side. Just do what feels good for you. We'll hold this for a few breaths. And then on our next inhale, we'll walk our hands towards our left foot for runner's lunge. Exhale, take your vinyasa, or we'll meet in our downward facing dog, yogi's choice. Take a few breaths in our downward facing dog. one more inhale in. Exhale up completely. Gaze between our hands. Hop, step, or float, top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to go through that flow one more time. Try that one breath per movement in our Vinyasa practice. So our inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, left foot steps to the right, curtsy. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, curtsy to the left. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, take your vinyasa or downward facing dog. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot steps through, runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale to crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, star pose with 45-degree angle feet. Exhale, goddess squat. Inhale, arms to a T. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to a T. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, rise up to star pose. Parallel out your feet, toes face forward. Exhale, hinge at your hips, wide-legged forward fold. We'll take a few breaths here in any variation you'd like. And then our next inhale, walk your hands towards your right foot, runner's lunge. Then exhale, take your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Switch sides here. Keep holding your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot steps through, runner's lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent. Exhale, twist to the left, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, rise up to crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rise up to star pose, heels in, toes out. Exhale to goddess pose. Inhale, release your hands to your thighs. Exhale, right shoulder dips, gaze above the left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip your left shoulder, gaze is above your right shoulder. Inhale to center, rise up to star. Parallel out your feet. And exhale, hinge your hips, wide-legged forward fold. Take a few breaths here. And then inhale, walk your hands towards your left foot. And then exhale, take your last vinyasa or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. And then we'll lower our knees down and big toes to touch. Lower our hips down to a wide-legged child's pose. Forehead to mat, arms extended in front of us. Let's catch our breath here. Inhale in, deep inhale in through your nose, exhale out through mouth. Then we'll walk our hands to the right, stacking our left hand on top of right. And then we'll walk our hands to center, and then to the left, right hand on top of left. And then we'll walk back to center. And then let's meet into back in tabletop. And then we'll tuck our toes under, lift our hips up for downward facing dog. Then we'll gaze between our hands, hop, step, or float, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, curl arms up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, in this section, we're going to do some balancing postures. So our right foot's going to be our balancing leg or foot. So we'll ground into our right foot. Lift our left knee up for standing staff. Option to extend your left leg. Take a few breaths here. And then on your next exhale, we're going to hinge at our hips and then sweep that left leg back into airplane pose. So our arms are by our side, left foot is flexed. You want to have like that that cobra with your chest. You want to, it's like a smiley face with your back. Option to extend your arms forward for Warrior 3. If you fall out of it, that's okay. You just get back up again. Then inhale, rise up to standing staff. Then exhale, release. Shake it out. So we'll do the left foot. So ground into our left foot. Right leg rises up into standing staff. You can keep your knee bent or extend your leg out. Keep your hips square. Take a few breaths here. And then on our next exhale, we'll hinge at our hips, sweep the right leg back to airplane pose. And keep that cobra shape with your chest or that smiley face with your back. Option here, you can extend your arms for Warrior 3. And then inhale, rise up to standing staff. Exhale, release. Shake it out. From our mountain pose, we'll inhale, sweep our arms up tall to high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. And then we'll lower our knees down to tabletop. And then we'll walk our legs back and we'll come to our bellies. We're going to do a back bend pose. So we'll walk our hands are directly under our shoulders. Walk our hands off the mat, and then we will create Spider-Man hands, which we're pressing our finger pads into the mat or the ground, and then our palm is lifted off. So our hands are like that. So on our inhale, we'll lift our chest up, gazes forward. Exhale, left shoulder dips, gaze over right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, right shoulder dips, gazes over left. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip your left shoulder, gaze over your right. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip your right shoulder, gaze over your left. Inhale to center. We'll take a few breaths. And then exhale, release your forehead. We'll bring our arms to the mat. And then we'll bend our knees, feet are flat, and then we'll windshield wiper our legs from side to side. And then we'll rise back up into tabletop and take our seat. So from here, we're going to do fire log pose. So if you have your yoga blocks, they can help here. You just need one. So we have a regular cross-legged position. So the goal here is we want to stack our legs on top of each other. So I'll take my left foot, or left leg, and stack it on top of the right. So my left ankle is above our right knee. So if you have a big gap in between your legs, place a block here. Or if you have a pillow, you can grab that or a blanket. And then you ground into your hips. Keep your both feet flexed. You want to keep a long spine, shoulders relaxed. And then, as an option, you can start to walk your hands forward for a forward fold. You might not be able to go far, that's okay. And release our neck. And then we'll walk our hands back into fire log pose. And then we'll switch sides. So our right ankle is above left knee. And then you can place that block to fill the gap, or your pillow. Ground into your hips, both feet are flexed. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk your hands forward. And then releasing your neck. And then walk your hands back, release your block. And let's extend our legs out, shake it out. And then from here, we're going to do a boat pose variation. So we'll bend our knees, feet flat on the floor, ground our sit bones into the mat, and then we'll lift up into our boat pose, or Navasana. So you want to make sure you're balanced on your hip bones, and your legs are at about a 90-degree angle, feet are flexed. And then from here, we're going to alternate our legs. So we'll straighten our right leg for 1, and then left 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back into boat pose. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release our feet, hug our knees. And we'll take a few breaths here. And then slowly rise up. And from here, let's make our way to our backs. And then from here, we'll tee out our arms. And then bring our legs up to like a 90-degree angle, and our shins are like a tabletop. And then when you're ready, let's guide our knees to the side, to the right side, grounding our shoulders into the mat, gaze to the ceiling or to the left. And inhale back to center, and then exhale, twist to the left. Gaze to the ceiling or to the right. Inhale back to center. Hug your knees into chest. Rock from side to side. And then from here we'll do our legs up the wall. So you can do either legs up the imaginary wall or use your actual wall. So we'll shift our right hip towards the wall, lowering our back down, rising our legs up tall, close to the wall, and you start to scoot towards the wall. Feet are flexed, arms by your side. We'll take about 7 breaths here. One more inhale in, filling up completely. Exhale out completely. And we'll slowly come off the wall, gently and with control. And then we'll make our way to our backs. Hug your knees into your chest, rocking from side to side. And then from here, you can take the final resting pose of your choice on your back, arms by your side, legs extended in front of you. Or you can take a fetal position, Shavasana on your belly, or you can take a seated meditation. So just find what works for you and melt into the mat. Putting all your worries aside, resting your eyes, resting in this final rest pose. Today's meditation is called Be Present for Yourself. Learn to be present for yourself, fully present in a way that's new and delightful. Be present for your thoughts and emotions. Be present for the gentle way in which your heart and body lead you on. Learn to be fully present for each step of your growth, each step of your journey. Value yourself, who you are, and what you feel, think and feel, and how you grow. For many years, you neglected yourself. It was as though you were unconscious of who you were, how you felt, and what you believed. You believed that kept you safe, protected you from feelings you didn't want to feel. You believed it and how you should live. Now you are learning another way. Survival is no longer enough. It does not meet the needs of your heart and your soul. Now you want to live fully and joyfully. To do that, you must be present for yourself. Be fully present for others too. Be present for their spirits, their emotions, the words they have to say to you, but especially be present for their hearts. You no longer have to fear losing or neglecting yourself if you're present for others. You can do this safely now. You will not be consumed by their needs, and you will not become trapped in the workings of their lives. And if you're present for yourself, you'll know how much presence to give to others. Be present for your life, for the starlit skies and the chirping birds that sing to the morning sun. Be present for the earth and grass under your feet, and feel of a snowflake in your hand. Be present for all the magic and mysteries of the universe. But most of all, be present for yourself. Then your presence for others and life will naturally follow. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, wrists and ankles. Start to awaken. Slowly make your way to fetal position on the right or left side, using your arm as a pillow. We'll stay there for a few moments. And then when you're ready, make your way to a comfortable seated position, cross-legged, grounding your sit bones into the mat, shoulders relaxed. And then bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I hope this video was helpful. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.